May I now present to this convocation the candidate for the Doctorate honoris causa to be conferred by York University, Tony Gagliano. Mr. Chancellor, Madam President, faculty and staff, our honored guests, graduates and parents, ladies and gentlemen, I now present to this convocation the candidate for the Doctorate honoris causa to be conferred by York University, a great philanthropist and entrepreneur, Tony Gagliano. This afternoon, we honor Mr. Gagliano, a driving force in the field of communications. Since age 29, as president of St. Joseph Communication, he has built one of Canada's largest private communications firms. In addition to publishing popular magazines such as Toronto Life and Fashion, he has revolutionized his firm in the fields of media, technology, software development, and business-to-business communications. Yet, even with such a stellar professional reputation, Mr. Gagliano may be even better known for his volunteerism and philanthropy, especially in Toronto's arts and cultural community. Dubbed the man behind Luminato, Toronto's Festival of Arts and Creativity, he serves as co-founder and chair. He is past president of the board of the Art Gallery of Ontario, where he spearheaded the signature glass and wood facade that has transformed the Art Gallery of Ontario into a famed Toronto landmark. He's also chair of the Salt and Light Media Foundation, an honorary chair of the music venues of Massey Hall and Roy Thomson Hall, and has previously served on the board of the Royal Conservatory of Music. Committed to causes such as poverty relief, Mr. Gagliano initiated the St. Joseph Foundation, and for his generosity was named the 2008 Canadian of the Year by the Canadian Club. Last year, Business for the Arts named him the winner of the coveted Edmund C. Bovey Award for Philanthropy in the Arts. Mr. Gagliano continues to realize and expand his dream of transforming Toronto into the most creative city in the world. Today, we recognize an eminent entrepreneur and a champion of the arts. I present to you, Mr. Chancellor, Mr. Tony Gagliano, candidate for the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
By the authority vested in me by the Senate of York University, I hereby confer upon you, Tony Gagliano, the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, admitto te ad gradum.
Good afternoon, everyone. Chancellor and dear friend Gregory Sorbera, President Rhonda Lenton, Provost Lisa Phillips, deans, esteemed colleagues, and representatives who join us on stage, members of the graduating class, family, members and friends, honored guests. I'm so proud to be here with all of you today at one of Canada's most important and finest universities. Most important, I believe, because of how well it serves all of the diverse communities in our country. I want to thank you for the honor you've bestowed on me today. You've given me the opportunity to think back, all the way back to June 1980. I was exactly in your shoes, graduating from university with great expectations for my career, and quite frankly, for my life. To be honest, there were a lot of uncertainties and questions roaming around in my mind. And I'm willing to bet that some of you graduating here today have a few uncertainties and questions roaming around in your mind about your future and about the life that lies ahead for you. You've all arrived at your graduation day, and you're all ready to embark on the next exciting chapter in your life. After all those years of hard work and determination, months at a time of sacrifice and dedication to your studies, after countless hours of researching, learning, and presentations, after so many dorm parties, after making so many friends that you will treasure for your lifetime, there's still one final step left in your university journey. Only one thing standing between you and receiving your parchment, my convocation address. But let me assure you, as diplomas, celebrations with friends and family await, I will do my best to be brief, hopefully interesting, and who knows, maybe even meaningful. Now, as you go through life, there are occasions of particular significance in our lives which seem to weave together all the important aspects. Take me standing here today. I'm joined by the most important people in my life. My wife, Lena, my 3 children, Michael, Guy Anthony, and Krista, all 3 of which recently graduated from university. My daughter's boyfriend, Zach, and my sister, Maria. So it is with a special sense of fulfillment that I happily accept the honorary doctorate today. As you enjoy your special day, I'm sure you will note how this day weaves together all the important things in your life up to this point: your education, friends, and most important, family. Look at all of you out here today, beaming so proudly for what you've accomplished, and your family is so proud of you. Not for 1 second did your parents ever think about what it cost to get to this day. They were happy to make any sacrifice, every sacrifice, for you, and they made plenty of them. You might want to give them a big hand. They sure deserve it. I hope that you're equally filled with pride. You've all proven to yourselves that you can set and meet ambitious goals, that when the going gets tough, the tough get going, that you're hardworking, you're thoughtful and dedicated, and of course, you're not just graduating from any university. No, this is York University, one of the country's leading, most respected universities, and today you're graduating from it. Based on my learning and experiences in life since my graduation, there are 3 messages I'd like to share with you today before you go off into the world. The first life lesson I want to share with you is to plead with you to always remember that anything is possible. Please never forget that. Please don't allow anyone, anywhere, to convince you otherwise. Always believe that anything is possible if you try to achieve it with your heart and your soul. Let me share with you 2 stories that will show you, without a shadow of a doubt, that anything is possible, that you can achieve any goal you set for yourself when you're determined to achieve it with your heart and soul. The first story is a story about my parents' journey. My parents, Gaetano and Giuseppina Gagliano, immigrated from southern Italy 64 years ago. They left Italy with 4 children and had 6 more after arriving in Toronto. I'm one of 10 children. They left southern Italy because they absolutely found it impossible to support their family as farmers right after the war. My parents immigrated here, and their dream was to live a successful life in a successful community. My father found work laying railroad track for CP Rail the day after he arrived in Toronto. Within 2 years, my father started a small print business in the basement of his home. He named the company St. Joseph Printing. My father built a values-based foundation for the business, the kind of foundation that would support a growing business even when the hurricane winds come. And in life, the hurricane winds come all the time, sooner or later. On that foundation, over the years, we've built a business that today is the largest independently owned print media and communications company in Canada with more than 1,400 employees. My father committed from day one, 62 years ago, that 10% of the company's profit each and every year would go to make the community in which we lived more successful by supporting charitable organizations. Over the last 62 years, we've supported more than 100 charities. My father received from his adopted country the Order of Canada, the highest honor you can receive for the contribution he made to building a better Canada. And he received the equivalent honor from his birth country of Italy. From being a farmer in southern Italy after the war and finding great difficulty in feeding his family, to receiving the highest honor in both your birth country and adopted country. Ladies and gentlemen, anything is possible when you put your heart and soul into it. My father and my mother were determined at any cost to ensure their 10 children had successful lives and lived in a community where all other families were also successful. My second example of anything is possible has to do with my life. I was born and raised in Toronto. This is a city I adore. During my lifetime, without a doubt, the lowest point for Toronto came during the SARS epidemic in 2002-2003. Dozens of people died during that time. Thousands were seriously ill. During SARS, our city was shut down. More than 250,000 people lost their jobs. Not a tourist anywhere to be seen. CNN was telling the world Toronto was the epicenter of the SARS epidemic, and it was telling the world to stay away from Toronto. And CNN was also telling the citizens of Toronto not to travel anywhere. We were not welcome anywhere. In 2003, Toronto's lights had been turned off. It was in the middle of that darkness for Toronto that an idea came to me. That idea was to launch a global multi-arts festival like the Sydney Festival or the Edinburgh Festival, but right here in Toronto, as a charitable organization, and mount an annual multi-arts festival every June. We would invite the world's greatest artists to Toronto, and we would ask them to collaborate with our country's finest artists. And that collaboration would light our city up for the world to see. But it could not be just any festival. It would have to be a global multi-arts festival that fit Toronto's DNA. It would have to be incredibly diverse and amazingly creative, and over time, more diverse and more creative than any other global festival. This multi-arts festival would become a beacon to the world. Well, against all the odds you can ever imagine, the Global Multi-Arts Festival was launched in 2007, just a few short years after SARS, and it's called Luminato. I co-founded Luminato with my friend David Pico. We are in the middle of the 12th annual Luminato Festival as I speak right now. Since launching Luminato 12 years ago, more than 20,000 artists have performed in the festival. Among them, Joni Mitchell, Leonard Cohen, Rufus Wainwright, Philip Glass, Adam Egoyan, Eric Idle, Gore Vidal, Bruce Coburn, Randy Bachman, and in 3 days, Amal Clooney. Cirque du Soleil has performed in the festival. In the last 12 years, the attendance at Luminato has been almost 10 million people. We presented more than 100 world premieres. Luminato has contributed more than $1 billion of economic stimulus for Toronto. Now, how does one ordinary citizen, born and raised in Toronto, co-found the Global Multi-Arts Festival owned by the people of Toronto that one day may become the world's most important, most diverse, and most creative multi-arts festival? By believing in every bone in my body that anything is possible. Anything is possible if your heart and soul are determined to make it so. During my journey of launching Luminato, I would meet many naysayers. Tony, the naysayers would say, it's not possible. No other city in Canada has a festival like this. Or no other city in the US has a festival like this. But also on my journey, I would meet remarkable, inspiring people that not only believed that anything is possible, they dedicated themselves to help make it so. One of those people is on the stage here today. It's your Chancellor, Gregory Sorbera, who believed in me from the moment he first heard the idea of launching Luminato, and he put his hand on my shoulder and has encouraged and helped me every step of the way. The same thing he does to thousands and thousands of people. Standing here looking into a crowd of passionate, enthusiastic, and dedicated young people, I know that anything is possible for each and every one of you, too. Think ahead, 5, 10, 20 years from now. Dream big, mighty big. Relentlessly pursue your passion and ambition. Rise to every challenge you will undoubtedly face. Take risks. And don't you ever, not even for a second, think about giving up. My wish for all of you is that you get the opportunity to experience what it's like to achieve something that almost everyone else thinks is impossible. My second message for you today is to start a life of service as early as you can. Beyond what dreams you have for your career and personal success, what are the ways that you can make a difference in the life of another person, a community group, a city, a country, or humanity in general? How can you use your education, your skills, and your passion, your heart and soul, to serve humanity? I learned about the importance of serving others from my parents, who taught me that each of us is given many gifts and talents by God, that our very life itself is a precious gift. We're called upon to make use of our talent. I know that life can sometimes be hard. Believe me, I know all too well. The challenges can seem daunting, and we can truly miss the important things in life. But life is short, and how we spend our brief journey through life on earth matters. What matters most are the things that can't be weighed or measured on a scale, a material scale, like the beauty of art and music, a true loyal friend, your loved ones, your family, the privilege to serve others. You see, I believe true success needs to be built on a solid foundation, a foundation that includes a successful life, a successful career, and being part of a successful community. Achieving two out of the three will simply not do. To put it more simply, I believe in service, that we all have a responsibility to serve a cause that's greater than our self-interest. It's in the realm of service to others that you will find the most happiness in life. I guarantee you. In business, we shouldn't make the pursuit of wealth and profits our only goal. Business growth must be rooted in values and integrity for what is right, the greater good. Robert Kennedy made this point better than anyone when he spoke the following words in 1968, just 3 months before his assassination. Quote, "We will find neither national purpose nor personal satisfaction in a mere continuation of economic progress, in an endless amassing of worldly goods. We cannot measure spirit by the Dow Jones average, nor national achievement by the gross national product. The gross national product does not allow for the health of our families, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play. It allows neither for the justice in our courts nor for the justness of our dealings with each other." The gross national product measures neither our wit nor our courage, neither our wisdom nor our learning, neither our compassion nor our devotion to our country. It measures everything, in short, except that which makes life worthwhile." End quote. If you were to ask what I consider to be the most important works of my life so far, helping to build St. Joseph Communications, our family business, would definitely be one of them. But the most important work of my life I consider to be not about money or financial success, but rather the ways I've been able to live my life with my family and trying to be of service to others. I'd like to share with you a question that I think about every now and then. It's the age-old question that Shakespeare put into my head and my parents put into my heart. It's a question I'm sure many of you have thought about as well. To be or not to be? To be indifferent or to make a difference? To be intolerant or to celebrate diversity? To think only of yourself or to serve humanity? The truth is that as I get closer to answering that one question, to be or not to be, I get closer to discovering the real purpose in my life. I have another wish for all of you graduating here today, that you come to answer that one question and that you find the real purpose in your life and you pursue that purpose with every ounce of vigor you can muster up. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you discover why you were born. You've likely by now picked up on the importance of family in my life and the impact they've had on me. My final message will reinforce this even further, as I'm borrowing this advice directly from my parents. My final message to you today, before you go off into this world, is to put faith and family in the center of your life. When I say the center of your life, I mean the center of your life. Put your faith in your family in first place. It's not easy to do. It's easy to say the words, but the actions are anything but easy. One thing we know for sure, all of us will face adversity in our lives. That's guaranteed. If you put your faith and family in the center of your life and not off to some distant corner, you'll find yourself incredibly well prepared to face that adversity when it does come. I share in the pride that overwhelms the room today and filled with hope by what you each represent for our future and the future of generations to come. The truth is, this generation, my children's generation, all of you young people out there, have the opportunity to be the greatest generation ever. And I expect no less from you. It's been a true honor to share this day with you, one of the most important milestones of your life, and such a meaningful one for me and my family. In closing, I wish each of you three things: to experience what it feels like to know that anything is possible, to come to know the incredible purpose and happiness that comes through a life of service, and that you discover the unimaginable strength that comes with putting your faith and family squarely in the center of your life. Congratulations, and thank you all.